All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for A Place Further Than the Universe, Episode 8.
Right. I think they are finally going to Antarctica now.
The boat will set sail.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have had their little speech talk, with the crew and everything. And
that's right.
Shiraz is just like, yes, we'll do this.
Yep.
Oh.
So now it's time for, let's see, seasickness and shipping antics, maybe?
Yeah.
That kind of shipping.
Please, Jacob, remember, they're underage. They're underage. They made it very clear in the previous episode. Specifically to one other crew member.
Well, but at least they made it so that the person that they made it clear to was the person that looked like the youngest out of everyone there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like how they've been told in the previous episode that they're going to be treated like adults.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
There's a lot of cool things that can happen, I'd say, when adults, legal adults, speak to teenagers and start treating them like adults.
Right, sort of calling them
kind
up
of
to the higher
them
standard.
Up to a higher standard,
Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and things are about to get serious because this expedition isn't the most efficient and the most well put together one, but they're going anyway.
Right.
So
they'll figure it out. Yeah.
Now the rubber hits the road and the
steel
reality
hits the water.
Right, and the realities of kind of going after the impossible thing are probably going to end up being made present. So what difficulties will they encounter along the way? Who knows? Well, we're ready to find out. So without further ado, let's do this.
ねえ、何？南極でもこれやろうね。
Nice!
この旅に何の意味があるのかなんてわからない。
Shiraz almost killed.
So terrified of someone.
Killed her.
She's like, no one is dying on this trip.
世界って本当に広いんだね。それで十分だ。はーい、取るわよ。こっち見て。
Picture time.
はい、チーズ。
Hey.
波だんだん荒くなるって言ってたよね。時間気にした方がいいですよ。その後手伝ってくれって言われたんですよね。失礼します。待ってあと30分。いや15分でいい。じゃあ外で待ってます。
With the idea that they're all talking about like,
did she not have eyebrows?
女の人なら珍しくないだろう。むしろ普通というか。やばい。遅刻。どっちでしたっけ？こっち。
はい待ってましたよ。じゃあ早速だけどそれお願いね。
それ？
Oh, peeled potatoes.
だからピーラー持っていった方がいいって言ったのに、リンのバカ。
Stupid Rin.
またそんなにあるんですか？でも楽しいよね、こういう。
4人でやっと1馬力って感じだね。
遅いですか？
家で手伝いをしてないのがよくわかるよ。だからといって急がないように。怪我をするといけないから。
Yes, thank you.
早っ。
一応プロだからね。
I'm a pro.
どこかのコックさんとか？
普段は給食のおばさん。
本日人〇〇より人7〇〇感情体育許可反時計回り。
なんです？
okay.
感情の体育を許可する。つまり外出て運動していいってこと。
Counterclockwise around the.
それ終わったら連れてってあげる。隊員の義務みたいなもんだからね。
だいたいどのくらい走るんですか？
特に決まりはないよ。ただ何度も言われてる通り、観測隊員は体力勝負。時にはマイナス何十度って中で一日中作業するんだから、そのつもりで鍛えておくように。お母さんもいつも運動してた。体力不足で倒れれば何もできないだけで周りの手を煩わせることにもなる。
Jog, not sprint.
やっぱり。おい、大丈夫か？なんでこんなに広いの？お前何度もここ歩き回っただろう。18!
Oh, that's awesome.
南極終わる頃にはアマゾン
We'll be Amazons.
そんな簡単にならない。はい、ラスワン。 して手上がらないのか。何かしたら軽く死なせますよ。
I will kill you.
バカじゃないですか。バカじゃないですか。これが海水風呂。結構大きいね。入りがいがあるな。早く出てくれませんか。髪の毛キシキシだし。だからみんな切ってるんですよね。男の人は坊主にしたり。よし、じゃあ切っておくか。私切ってあげる。船に床屋さんの設備あるんでしょ。地球額だけ散っても嫌です。
Yes! Yeah!
なんで？私うまいよ。自分で前髪よく切ってるし。
Yeah, we've noticed. Yeah.
やっと謎が。
The mystery is solved!
この髪型なんだ。何？やめなって。
Don't.
疲れちゃったよね。気持ち悪い。
Oh, seasickness. Yep.
気持ちが悪い。
Alright. Going to
世
die.
界が回る
The
よ。
world is finished.
喋るな。喋る。どうだっ
Coming back
た？
from puking over the side of the
聞か
ship.
ないで。
Yeah.
完全に船酔いね。
そっか。
Oh.
そんなに長いこと乗り物に乗るなんてないから考えなかった。
ひなたのパパ。
They're even having things slowly rotate.
薬飲んでよく寝ること。あとはご飯はちゃんと食べる。食欲ないだろうし。食べ
They're
て
like,
も戻し
food,
て
do
も
I have to
嫌
eat
なのはわかるけ
food?
ど、食べないとどんどん体力が持っていかれる。
And they're still having things slowly keep like rotating. This is so great. And she's just
かなえさんが言ってたでしょ。南極で足手まといになりたくなかったら無人でも食べる。
yes, yes, yes. Go Shirase.
Shirase is just powering through it, and they're like,
Go Kimari. Go Hinata. Yes.
and they're Kimari's bowl of rice is way smaller than Shirase's.
全部。
It all came up. Ah!
ゆずきちゃんも全部出ちゃった。言わないでください。揺れないでくれ。ちょっとでいいから止まって。今止まってるらしいですよ。
本日0800より1400環状体育許可時計回り
Now go running.
どうする？
I love that they didn't even answer.
見てみたかったな、クジラ。クジラ見えるの？
さっき見えたって言ってたけど。
Oh, there it was.
She's trying to keep it steady.
見える？軽く自爆してますね。一点集中してみるんだろう。
Yep.
やめて、想像しただけで吐きそう。
Ready for what?
53度？その記録はだいぶ昔の話だけどね。南極に行くにはね、どうしても突破しないといけないの。吠える40度、震える50度、叫ぶ60度。なんですかそれ？ジェットコースターみたいに内臓がふ
I thought this was bad.
ジェットコースターか。嫌いじ
I
ゃない
like
けど
those.
な。今乗りたいかって話だ。
No.
うわあ、落ちる。
Oh. And she's on the bed door. It doesn't matter.
今までで一番大きかったな。
これでも多分15度く
That
らい。
was just 15 degrees.
うわあ、来た来た来た来た来た。
Yuzuki's
just
sleeping
completely
through
passed
everything.
浮いた。
皆さんすごい体力あるし、船にも強いし、なんていうか、生き物として生命力が全然違うっていうか。
だったら私たちも強くなればいい。なんか私もう吐くの慣れてきた。
私もこうなったら何度も食って何度も吐いちゃる。
Whoa!
完全に坂ね。
帰ったら話
You
せ
wanna get home? I can
観
tell
測
the
船ってすごいぞ
expedition
って
ships are amazing.
言う、すごい楽しいって。
嘘じゃないですか。
嘘じゃないよ。この旅が終わった時には絶対にそう思ってるもん。
Oh!
Oh!
外行ってみたいですね。お、それいいな。
That's really sounds like a... Wow. Careful! Careful! This is stupid. They should yeah. Be down on your knees, holding on tight. Yeah. You all are crazy. Yeah. Jeez.
元気になった？
はい、もうバッチリです。
やっと船に乗れたみたいね。
はい。
ただし、陸地に降りた時に今度はお金
You're
に
gonna
する
get
からね。
land sick.
マジ。雲もなく、鳥の姿もなく、視界すべてが一面の青。
That
どんなに目を
madhouse.
凝らしても見渡す限りの水平線。
Yeah.
そこにあるのは宇宙を思わせる無音の世界。嘘。あれが
Oh yeah. Icebergs.
Oh, it was a very sweet episode. It was kind of hilarious too, in that basically the whole episode was just the comedy of them reacting to what it means to be on an expeditionary voyage.
Right, exactly.
To Antarctica, no less.
Yeah, they're not going on some short trip, you know. Yeah.
Well,
like,
the trip is I think going to be relatively short comparatively to, like, you know,
right, because they are leaving from Australia.
they're leaving from Australia.
But treacherous waters and the
But
like.
the main thing is that the waters are way more violent than they would have expected, and the boat being as large as it is keeps it from being dangerous.
Right, for the most part. Although them going outside and, you know, like being at the railings.
That's a little bit too dangerous.
Yeah,
That's tempting fate, if you will.
Like since this is a cute girls doing cute things as they pursue their dreams.
We know they're safe.
We know they're probably safe, but they could have just been like, oh, bye, Kamari, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been bad. I have been on like a boat for 45 minutes. Like a boat where
we're not exactly big seafarers.
No, but like even in that small amount of time, where like this was a much smaller boat, by the way, like I could feel a little bit of the jostling, you know, but it did almost nothing to me. But I can't imagine being like in a boat where that big it turns to what she was saying 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Screaming 60 degrees. Guys, so 90 is straight up. Like
right. So 90 so if they were talking about going from like 20,
0,
30, 40. Yeah.
0,
So 90
10,
degrees is
20,
like is
30,
is it
40.
completely on its side. So
45 is almost an even diagonal.
No, 45 isn't even diagonal.
Yeah. But 60? 60 is
That's
like
2/3. Like
60 is like this.
Yeah. It's like wow.
Yeah. What the heck? I would be like going mad thinking about that as I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, I could bash my head. I could die here.
Right. And a lot of that probably has to do with the fact that they're at 60 degrees because it's not just that because it's not like the boat is on flat water and it's 60 degrees, because then it probably would tip over. But it's the idea that they could, you know, there are waves in these oceans. You know?
And the wave could go up, 80 feet tall.
Right.
Not really 80
something.
feet tall, but let's say like a 30-foot tall swell. That seems pretty realistic. You could get bigger than that. But the point is that the boat just kind of curves up it, and then when the wave subsides, it just curves down it.
Right.
It just does this and then goes down. But when it starts to go up really high, it's not going to last the whole time. But oh my gosh.
In order to get the kind of like boat like crashing and doing all that crazy stuff that we saw from sort of the looking forward perspective, for a boat that big, 30-foot swells, I would say, are easy.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Because
it's
that's
not
the
just
thing
that
that
you would see constantly.
Right. It's the idea because there's 30 foot, but that's just up. Anytime it goes 30 foot up, it'll probably also go 30 foot down because it's the water collecting into one place.
Yeah.
So...
I could see it going as high as 80 feet potentially. But the other thing they mentioned with the currents was really cool in how that because they're actively going in a perpendicular direction to the currents, they get a little bit more of a violent reaction than if they were just kind of approaching it kind of on a diagonal. But they're going like directly straight through the currents going east to west.
Right.
So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty intense.
And I love that they're like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And it's like, how big do you think that one was? Probably 15 degrees. And they're just like, oh no,
God, no.
And Mari's like, okay, I'm gonna get up. And they're like, no, don't do that.
Almost got a concussion.
Yeah,
stuff.
Like,
I loved the little banter again in the beginning. It just.
Then talking about like moments. I could cut your hair, do it, and you're dead. Like,
not for the fate of the world.
Yeah, not for the fate of the world.
Now, trust me, I do my own bangs. Like the mysteries reveal. So that's why your hair looks like that. She's like, Nani, what? Yeah. What is it? What did I do? It's fantastic. There were a bunch of little moments you could tell that Kimari was like feeling a little bit kind of. Not really complaining or whining, but just a little bit just kind of distraught about how like tough things are.
Oh yeah.
And Shirase was the one that every once in a while would kind of be like, we just have to do our best.
Yep.
We just have to do this. Yep. We can do this.
Right.
And Hinata was surprisingly, I think, kind of quiet this episode. Like there were moments where she was being goofy and funny.
Like the whole thing of like
with the marker. Yes, the marker was so great.
Not being like Yuzuki just can't lift her arms. It's like, oh great, my nose itches, and then I'll kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you, and then washing it off later, and
oh man, there was the whole running bit, and they were talking about exercise and stuff, and you and I just kind of were like, relatable, because when you start exercising when you haven't for say like years and years, it's hard. But imagine being like 15 years old or something, and like you haven't exercised your entire life. Like
right, exactly.
You ran around as a kid and stuff, but you never like exercise for the sake of exercise.
Well, and I think we saw a great example of that with Yuzuki with the weights, because
yes, she's 14. Remember, she's younger.
Oh,
she's a year younger than them.
Well, wait, no, they were saying 17 and 16.
Yeah, but I don't think any of them are. Are they?
They said 17 and 16.
No, I think she was saying we're not 17 and 16-year-olds that like are
okay.
The main reason why I'm guessing this
14 isn't even in high school.
Yes, but she's not in their school. They didn't meet her through school.
They said she wasn't in their year. But anyways, the point is, regardless of what the
we
age
know that
is,
Yuzuki is a year younger.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But regardless of the age, they probably haven't done all that much exercise, and they probably certainly haven't done like weightlifting type, like resistance training stuff.
No. So like they would have to start off on basically like non-existent, really, really small little dumbbells. Like 2 pounds.
Like and
5 pounds at most.
Also, I love the fact that Hinata, they have a limited amount of weight, right? Because total 100 kilograms, all things considered. And she brings a squirt gun.
That is true.
Priorities.
I do think, though, that there's a possibility that the squirt gun was something someone else brought, but also Hinata being the one to bring it is like okay, sure. Someone bringing in something silly makes a lot of sense because they're going to be in an environment where they'll want to kind of capture memories. So any kind of thing that begs a question when they take the picture, and they're like, why is there a squirt gun? Well, you had to be there, that kind of thing.
And the whole thing of the wishing she had an actual peeler. She's like, cursed.
Yeah.
Her sister, and then her sister sneezes like,
like she just felt the negative psychic energy from Kimari.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I liked how they showed all the original team, the original 3 of the original 4 kind of going around and having their little bits and stuff. The girl who was the lunch kind of preparer and stuff, just teaching them the ropes of things and being really sweet and stuff.
It's pretty incredible how fast people can get at preparing food when it has to do with their job, like their day job. Like, because
you would know that.
Yeah, like you get fast at things. And it's like, wow, how was I ever like so slow at like these things, like, like peeling potatoes or whatever, where they're like taking off the little bits, 1 minute at a time. She just picks it up and just starts,
Oh my gosh,
that was great.
The episode actually didn't have that much story involved in it.
No.
So this was like true slice of life,
right?
A kind of example of where the show does this. But I think very rarely they've had it be a true slice of life thing where the conflict was purely comedic. Like this conflict of the boat is rocking.
Yeah. Right.
Really annoyingly.
And it tied into the characters nicely because it's causing them to wonder, like, are we really ready for this, and all that stuff, and we're finally on the journey and we don't want to be a burden to anybody, but they're already on the journey, it's happening, it's not like losing your passport.
Yes, exactly. So with this being kind of them reinforcing the belief that they chose this, I like that Kimura said that. That was
and
really
that
cool.
Hinata was like, well said. Yeah, I'm going to go throw up.
Yep. That this is the first of many hardships that they will have to encounter along
that they didn't
the way.
Foresee. Yeah.
Right, and that they can't really prepare for perfectly.
Right. They're kind of learning how to adult, in the same way that everyone's treating them like an adult. They're learning that you just got to sort of make it up as you go and you address things as they appear.
Adulting is like 90% making it up as you go. Like just figuring it out.
It's understanding that no one really knows what they're doing.
And the ones that do know what they're doing, they've been doing that thing for a while. Like a long while.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really just repetition at that point.
And even then, it's not that they never get surprised by things. They get surprised less, but it's that they
get surprised by other things.
They're comfortable adapting. Like,
oh, sure. I do think, though, that, like, you can see them being good at their thing. Like, it's like, oh, wow. Like, I play a lot of Ultimate Frisbee. Like, I've seen people who are, like, amazing at Ultimate Frisbee. And I know that because of how much time I've spent Ultimate Frisbee, they've spent, like, 2 or 3 times that much on their respect. So you know that they might have their troubles with other things,
right?
But it's just the amount of time they've invested into it, and this is their first time doing everything that they're doing right now.
So of course they'd be like looking at the other people and being like, "They're such good runners," and everything. It's like, well, they've been doing this for a while, right? And the whole idea of being like, okay. The whole seasickness thing was amazing. Yeah. But I loved the whole thing of them just lying in their beds being seasick. And then suddenly, training will be open from this time to this time, clockwise. And they just don't say anything for a while. And then Kamari's like, so what do we do? And then it's and that's the only.
And then it just shows them suddenly outside. And they're like, well, I'm not running today.
Yeah, just lying.
No. I have ran a couple times where it gets to that point where it feels like you're going to throw up, but I have never started running when I already felt like I was going to throw up. That madness, I tell you, madness.
And then Kamari looking at the whale and just being like trying to focus on it, but then they're like, she's self-destructed.
But yeah, overall, it's a sweet episode. Not a lot really happened. They are on their way to Antarctica, and that's a big deal. It took a good portion of the show to get here. Now they have the first sighting of ice, which means we are close to Antarctica, and these are yes. Now we haven't had 60 degrees yet, so we're probably going to get at least half an episode more of craziness before we get to Antarctica.
60 degrees with icebergs.
Oh, that's a good point. They have to.
Yeah.
They're not going to be moving this fast in terms of turning,
right.
But they're going to have to avoid icebergs and kind of do that whole thing.
And it might just be saying that okay, we handled all that stuff, you know.
True.
Because this was very much like the episode of all right, we're doing the voyage stuff, you know,
right?
And now it's like all right, now we're doing the voyage stuff, but with ice, you know.
There were some really cool visual moments this episode.
Oh yeah,
with water. Water, I can't imagine how hard it is to animate, but it looked amazing.
Like that's one of the measuring sticks I look at a lot of the times with water of like how well they do water. It's like that kind of sets the tone for how they do the other stuff.
Right. And like this story couldn't do hair perfectly, so they invested it into things like water.
Or they just decided not to make the people look more normal. Well, possibly.
Jacob, it's anime.
Well, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that they choose the things that they're going to invest into, obviously, and hair is not something that they're going to be investing like huge realism energy into. But with water, with the boat, with the way it moves and stuff, like that 3D that they used on the boat when it was kind of rocking side and side. That's such a good shot.
Yeah. That was great.
But yeah, that was good stuff. If you want to watch the next episode's reaction, though, right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about stories or whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.